Hey, hi, Kritak. Good evening.
Yeah, hi, good evening.
Yeah.
Good evening. Yeah,
Hi,
thanks
Ridhan.
for joining the
Hi,
call,
Pranay.
Kritak.
Yeah, hi,
Kritak,
Ridhan.
No
Sham
worries.
is going to join this call.
No, Sham is not.
Okay,
He's not
okay,
able to
fine.
join, so he forwarded it to me.
Okay, fine, fine. You can take things forward from here. I will drop. Thank you so much.
No worries. No worries. Thank you, Prabhaji. Hey, Pranay, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you, Ridhani?
I'm also doing good. You can call me Kritar, and I hope you were able to hear me properly.
Yeah, yeah, yes.
Okay, okay. So I have some background noises, so I'll ask you the questions and then I'll go on mute. So don't worry about it.
Yeah, okay. Your voice is clear, brother.
Clear, no? You don't
Yeah, yeah,
hear too
clear.
many background noises.
Yeah, no, no, no. It's fine. I can hear you
Okay,
now.
perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect.
yeah.
Thank you so much for confirmation.
Yeah,
How
thank
are
you.
you doing?
Yeah, I'm good.
Good. Okay. So let me quickly introduce myself.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm Siddharth and I work in McAfee since last 3 years now as a senior DevOps engineer. And overall I have around 9 years of experience. And I work here in the DevOps team as part of one of the three DevOps teams. So we have around 20 DevOps people, 2022, and each one has their own separate responsibility. But I majorly work on the modernized stack on cloud, Kubernetes, Terraform, CI/CD, etc. And I work at my manager Shams. He was supposed to join today, but he couldn't make it. But if you clear this round, we will be taken to another round, which he will take. Okay.
Okay, okay.
And
Yeah, yeah.
uh, you have 30 minutes for this interview, right? You have time till 5:30, or how much time do you have?
Yeah, I think 5:30. Yeah, 30 minutes.
5:30. Okay, fine.
Yeah,
So let's not waste a lot of time.
yeah.
Can you please give your introduction? I want to specifically know about your tech background, whatever skills related to this profile do you have, and whatever experience you have until now, and what are your current roles and responsibilities?
Yeah, sure. Uh, yeah, myself, Pranay. I have total 4 years of experience in DevOps and cloud. And I started my career as a junior DevOps engineer in CyberOps Private Limited. So there I got a chance to explore in AWS side. In AWS, I worked on EC2, S3, load balances, and Elastic EBS block storage volumes. And coming to the DevOps side, I built a CI/CD pipeline. So in that CI/CD pipeline, I configured Docker and Kubernetes and Maven tool, Git, and I was more into the Linux also, Linux part also. So later I joined in WIT Solutions. So here I got a chance to explore on GCP side. So from here onwards, from last 2 years onwards, I'm working on GCP cloud. And in GCP, I worked on Compute Engine, Cloud Build, Cloud Deploy, and BigQuery and IAM and like Cloud SQL, then VPCs, subnets, firewall rules, and deployment side GKE mainly. And yeah, that's it about myself.
Okay, good, good. Thanks for the background. I think
Yeah,
that is
yeah,
good enough.
yeah,
So it is interesting to know that you have worked both on AWS as well as GCP.
yeah, yes.
Um, and you have also worked on Docker, Kubernetes, and Linux. Do you have any experience on Terraform?
Yeah, Terraform also. Yeah, in my another organization, sorry, I worked on Terraform. By using Terraform, I created the infra also.
Okay, okay,
Yeah,
nice. So let me start with some basic questions around cloud. Okay.
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
sure.
so consider I am a newbie to GCP.
Okay.
Okay. I've only worked on AWS.
Hmm.
So how will you convince me or argue with me, or not only argue or convince? Okay. How would you
Okay.
explain me what what are the differences between AWS and GCP, or what are the similarities between them? So that I can start working on GCP quickly. So make it simple for me to correlate AWS and GCP based on your experience.
Yeah, sure. Uh, I think the most of the many people like freshers and many of the people and most of the companies use AWS like 50 to 60%. Even though why we need to use GCP means it is also same good interface. The similar points are like coming to the virtual machines we called in AWS it EC2 and in GCP we called compute engines. So whereas a networking part, the similar names are there like VPC security. Instead of security groups, we use your firewall rules, and IAM rules is same. And in AWS we use EKS Elastic Kubernetes Service, and in GKE we use GKE Google Kubernetes Engine, and mainly and both offer scalable and reliable and secure cloud infrastructure, and both support IAC like Terraform, and both have the CI/CD individual AWS heads code pipeline, and it has code build and code deploy, and it is both tools are good for DevOps practices, and like both are most best platforms, and both clouds offers mainly services for databases and storage and networking. And in my experience, GCP and AWS are both uh, best and best cloud platforms, and they differ in the naming and services offers, and with but uh, like both support and very what I told in previously, both support IAC and DevOps related tools, and I'm comfortable uh, in GCP also.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
that's good for
yeah.
starters. Just
And
one
you
more
can
point is,
you
can
ca-
you?
you already, yeah, as you want to me tell, you already know AWS, right? So you can easily adapt to this cloud with
Mhm.
only minute
Okay,
concept and content is same. The only name similarities is different. So we can easily adapt to the,
perfect.
yeah. That's
Perfect. Uh,
yeah,
just one more point. If you can quickly recall, based on your experience,
yeah,
small or big point, doesn't matter. One advantage of AWS over GCP and one advantage of GCP over AWS. We're not talking about disadvantage. Just give
yeah,
me
yeah,
one positive points in terms of comparison.
yeah, yeah, both.
One for
Uh,
AWS and one for GCP.
yeah, sure. Um, like advantages mainly, yeah, in AWS,
It can be simple.
simple, yeah,
Anything simple based on your user experience. Anything. Yeah.
yeah. Coming to like in GCP, yeah, first I started my career as AWS, and like in AWS we have the like large ecosystem of services, and it offers third party tools, and it have the community support like AWS Community Builder, and it is suitable for the wide range of use cases and easier to find the solutions. And when it
Mhm.
comes to GCP, we have the services like we have the good ecosystem including BigQuery and Google Workspaces also we have, and
Mhm. Okay.
GCP it is mainly I mean mostly used for Google data analytics and machine learning workloads parts.
Right, right, right.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is the
What
main.
is the what is this AWS community builder that you mentioned?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I'm working on that. Like AWS Community Builder is means while we are learning AWS, so we can contribute by posting in the Medium, Substack, Hashnode. So we can become one of the AWS community builders. So we can get it. We can get some credits.
Mm-hmm. Are you
Yeah, yeah.
working
So
towards that?
yeah, yeah. I'm working on that to get some
Okay.
credits and to work to play some with AWS more tools. Now AI is coming, right?
Nice.
So AI tools,
Yeah,
SageMaker, that related.
yeah. I hope you uh, I hope you go further on that path and join me as I am
Yeah, yeah,
already an
sure, sure.
AWS community builder.
Okay, okay, great.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Um, so again, another layman question. Uh,
yeah,
how would you explain Google Cloud projects to me?
yeah,
Projects.
yeah. Projects means
What is the use of projects? How do I?
Okay, Google Cloud
create resources.
projects.
GCP. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Uh,
What is the use of projects? What is the concept of projects in GCP?
mm, like similarly, if you take for e-commerce, like GCP projects, we can build like e-commerce one and banking one, so we can manage our resources. Uh, like in this in a project, we can use the tool, we can use the services, mainly virtual machines, storage buckets, databases, and networking settings, and within our Google Cloud platform, each project has its own set of users and permissions, and it has own billing and quotas, and allowing you to isolate and manage the resources with the different
Hmm.
teams, different
That's
teams and
correct. Yeah.
applications
Yeah,
environments.
that is the word I was looking for. Isolation.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, isolation.
fine.
Yeah.
You mentioned about e-commerce. So I have a couple of questions around e-commerce because let's imagine we have an e-commerce website to deploy.
Okay.
Okay. Um, I want you as the Google Cloud architect for e-commerce. Okay.
Yeah.
You are an architect for e-commerce website getting deployed on GCP. Quickly, whatever you can recollect, tell me which services in Google Cloud you will use for what purpose. For example, virtual machine or compute engine for RAM and CPU.
Yeah.
Okay, that's one example. What other services of Google Cloud will you use to deploy an e-commerce application while designing the architecture? So keep e-commerce in mind and tell me. One just name of the service and its use. What is the use of it? That's it.
Yeah, sure, sure. For e-commerce, basic architecture. So if we start from the developer point of view, for front end we use the Cloud Run, and we can use the Cloud CDN, and it accelerates of delivery, static images, and CSS, JSS. And for application layer, uh, in business point of view, we can use the Cloud Run or GKE mainly for backend services and APIs. And
What is the
coming to
Cloud Run used for?
yeah, Cloud Run we can use for the backend services. Second, application layer, and
Okay.
we have,
Yes.
if we go to for serverless computing, we can use Google Cloud Function, event drive, tasks like ordering the processes and notifications. And coming to the third part, most important, like database we can use for the Cloud SQL, and and storage we can use Google Cloud Storage, and we can store the uh, instead of cloud store, we can use Firestore also, NoSQL databases. And fifth, next,
Where,
coming
where,
to networking
where would
part,
you use
VPC.
where would you store the images? The product images we are selling on the e-commerce platform.
The product images we store in the like Cloud SQL, and cloud storage also. Cloud storage, we can store the that product large size of images and uploads and backups. We can store in the cloud storage.
Perfect.
And
Yes.
yeah,
Okay.
and networking side, VPC, and DNS, and one more like load balancers. It's important. And later, coming to security, security, it will start with the IAM and secret manager. And finally, we can talk about the monitoring part, cloud monitoring and cloud logging. These are the services. And as usual, CI/CD for cloud build and cloud deploy.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
I have a couple of more questions around this.
Hmm.
Imagine that we have a mm, order service,
Okay.
same e-commerce examples,
Okay.
and we have a uh, inventory service. Okay. Order is the front customer facing service where people are ordering from your e-commerce website, ordering products or whatever, ordering items. And inventory service is the backend which sellers use to update the inventory. Okay.
Okay.
Whatever sellers are listed on our website, they are managing their inventory, right? So that is the inventory service. Now, uh, currently they are dependent on each other. For example, when I place an order, it calls the inventory service to check if the inventory is available or whatever, or reduces one quantity from the inventory, etc. So basically, order service is calling inventory service right now.
Okay. The
Okay.
order service is calling
Now
inventory service. When we
that's
place the
correct.
order, okay, it's calling.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't go too much deep into that. The
Yeah, yeah,
the
okay. Hmm.
focus area here is now something happened with the inventory service. It is responding slowly. Okay.
Okay.
Because it is responding slowly, irrespective of whatever is the root cause, that inventory guy will check. Inventory
Hmm.
service guy will check. But you are the infrastructure guy, DevOps engineer, or architect. Okay.
Yeah.
Your key purpose is the service should not get impacted because inventory service is down or responding slowly. Because if the order service is impacted, it will impact the end customer, which is whoever is ordering from our website.
Yes.
Okay. So if inventory service is responding slowly, it should not cause impact on the order service. How can you achieve this as an architect? What will you suggest?
Uh, yeah, got to the point. Inventory is getting slow, and like so better solution is like we need to uh, check the initially. Yeah, we check the cloud logging and monitoring the inventory services, and like if we need to check the service is running and healthy using cloud monitoring or Kubernetes dashboard or Grafana. And we can overcome this issue is like we need to look for the high CPU usage and the resource allocation. So one thing we can do is we can increase the resource resources limit, like use horizontal HPA to scale the services based on the demand, and we can optimize the database queries like uh, and indexes the inventory services, and
Mhm.
implementing caching. Use caching like Redis cloud memory for frequently accessed
Mhm.
data, and we can reduce the
Yeah.
load for inventories by cached response.
Oh, yeah, this is
Yeah, yeah,
one good, but yeah, that
yeah,
is good.
yeah,
Whatever steps you mentioned is good, but you are
yeah,
mostly focused on the inventory service, on how to resolve and how to avoid issues with the inventory service. And
yeah. We
I
can,
appreciate that.
yeah,
That
we
is
can
okay.
use HPA also, like service based on
Mm,
demand, horizontal.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That is all fine now. But irrespective of whatever you do, but that's a future approach. Okay, future
Okay.
approach.
Okay.
Um, Irrespective of whatever you do in the inventory service,
Yeah.
even if it does get down, even if it still has issues, it should not impact my order service. How can you do that? Something between order and inventory, some technology, some concept, some tool
Uh,
between order and inventory. What can you do?
like still, I mean, by doing these steps, but still, uh, our order service gets uh, slow. Like, right? Still, it is affecting.
Inventory,
Yeah.
inventory services, some whatever you did, inventory service is still getting impacted. And we don't
Uh,
want to focus on the inventory service. We want order should be fine. Order service should be fine. Order is calling inventory. Inventory is down, but order should not get impacted.
yeah, yeah. If may inventories get down, the order should be functionality should be work fine,
Hmm,
right?
hmm, 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 hmm.
Yes. One thing. Okay. Yeah. Still inventory is getting down. Order service should be work fine means we need to uh, define. We need to define both. I mean, both in the separate namespaces. Like while we are writing the AML files, so we will.
Namespace won't help, right? Because it is doing an API call to inventory.
Okay, API call. Okay. Uh, or we can
Okay, we
use
don't
the
want real-time things here.
okay, or simply we have the concept like use we can use the asynchronous communication, like we
Mhm.
can
How?
implement the message queues, like
That's correct. Yeah, that
yeah,
is what I
pub and sub,
wanted.
yeah, got it. Yeah, pub and sub, like
Yeah,
example.
that's
Yeah,
correct.
pub and
Yes, yes, yes. Pub sub architecture. That's correct. You should ideally
yeah,
decouple it.
yes,
You can
decouple.
decouple using it by introducing some queuing system in the middle. That's fine.
Yes.
Yeah, that is what I want. That is the answer I was looking for.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Mm, um, okay, you have used anything else I want to check on e-commerce. Okay, I think that should be fine.
Yeah.
Tell me about how often have you upgraded GK clusters?
Mm, uh, like it is monthly, uh, monthly or
Upgraded.
bi-weekly. Yeah, upgrading the cluster based on the usage, like usage and that usage limits. So we often upgrade like monthly minimum.
What do you upgrade from what to what? Are you upgrading the underlying EMI or what
Mainly,
are you upgrading?
I will check the
The version
version.
of Kubernetes?
Yeah, yeah. Mainly upgrade. I will check the Kubernetes cluster, current cluster, and I will check the next available versions,
Mhm.
checking bi-weekly and monthly. So I will upgrade the
So do they
master.
release
Yeah.
every 15 days, 1 month? Do they release new version?
No, no, no. They won't release, but we usually check right for in. They will
So how
release.
often do Kubernetes releases? Yeah, major version.
Um, Often like every yearly. If yearly they will release the new versions. If I'm not wrong, like yearly.
Have you
And
upgraded your production GKE clusters?
for not production one, like production one, they have like L3 support engineers. As an into the L2 member, I do have only for dev and QA environments. And
Okay,
in
so
that I
in your
upgraded like master and nodes, G Cloud container,
Mhm.
like mm,
Okay, so you don't have production access as of now.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, fine. Mm, um, okay. How do you do you create your GK clusters using Terraform?
Yeah, yeah. I use by using Terraform, I created the GK clusters and nodes.
Do you use Terraform modules?
Yeah, yeah. Use Terraform by using Terraform modules, individual modules.
Okay. Where is your state file stored in Terraform?
Yeah, generally we will store the state file in backend GCS. If it is
Okay.
AWS, we stored in S3. Uh,
Okay.
yeah.
And how do you implement logging mechanism in Terraform? State file?
Mm, State file locking mechanism, right?
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, state file, yeah, like locking mechanisms. I used GCS. I mean, by using Google Cloud Service.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. What does it
And
help with? Why is it
uh,
used? Terraform state log.
yeah, state lock because when we are running, suppose if you are want to deploy, we are creating the new servers by Terraform init apply. So by using this Terraform locking, main uses like we the resources it won't create the next time. It will save our time. So this is the main use of
Mm-hmm.
Terraform state locking. And
Otherwise, if we don't use the log, will it create those resources again by doing
yeah,
another update?
yeah, it will we get it will create the again. So that's why we need to log the state files with the Google Cloud Storage and GCS.
Okay.
And in AWS
Mm.
S3 I used. Yeah.
For example, if I have a Terraform file, .tf file, where I
Okay.
have created one server, I mean compute engine,
Okay.
and one bucket we have. Okay, two
Yeah.
resources we have in the same file. If I make changes to that same file to add another compute engine.
Okay. Already
Okay.
one. Okay. We are creating the new compute engine, right here.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I'm doing an apply. It already
Hmm.
has two resources in the file, and another one I added. What will
Okay.
happen? What will show in the Terraform plan?
Yeah. If we are creating the new compute engine, yeah, it will apply. Like we are creating with a different name, right? Obviously, the we are giving the new name.
Yes, yes. New
Yeah,
name, yes. And
yeah,
what will happen to the other two resources that are there in that file?
yeah. It won't affect. Like we are not changing the existing one. So
Hmm.
in the same environment, we are creating the new compute engine. So
Hmm.
it will a
It
new
won't
compute
impact.
engine.
It won't impact the first and second resource which are already present and already created.
Yeah, it won't affect because we use like Terraform state logging, right? It will save and it will save and it will.
If we are not
Uh,
using logging,
if you are not using, sorry.
then what will happen?
Yeah, if you are not using state logging, it will definitely will get some. Uh, if we are not using state logging, we will get some state corruption issues like state file maybe get corrupted.
Will it get corrupted when Terraform apply or Terraform plan?
No, it won't affect the Terraform apply command because we are creating with the new name, right? So if we are
Hmm.
not using state file also, it won't affect. Yeah, it won't affect. It won't
Okay.
affect.
No, no.
The new resource will be created.
New resource creation is fine, but what my concern is about the existing resources, two resources, what will happen with them?
Okay, it won't affect. Existing won't affect. We are creating with new name, right? So
Even
existing,
if I create, even if I no, don't use state block, it won't affect.
yeah, it won't affect. Yes.
Then what is the purpose of state block?
Yeah, state locking file. The purpose is uh, like the multiple people are working, right? So when multiple people are working, uh, so we will it won't uh, like avoid conflicts because we both are
Mhm.
working on the same state file. It avoids the
Mhm.
conflicts. That is the main issue here.
Okay, fine.
In
Um,
managing when we are trying to manage the same infrastructure, same environment, so it will avoid our conflicts.
okay, fine.
Yeah.
What is mm, let's take an example. I have that Terraform file and I'm calling a module from the
Okay.
Terraform file.
Okay.
Okay, there's a module called happening. Mm, in that module, there is a fixed value uh, of some parameter. Suppose name of the resource is fixed, hard
Okay.
coded. I
Yeah.
want to make it dynamic. What should I do?
I mean, we are calling a file
From the
uh,
Terraform file, I'm calling a module. In that module,
module. Okay.
there is a hard
Hmm.
coded value. I want to make it
Okay.
dynamic.
Okay. That module we need to make dynamic, right?
Yes, yes. One
Okay.
value in that module.
Okay. Hmm, like we can
Let's
define
say
the.
I'm creating an EC2. I'm using the EC2 module, AWS EC2 module.
Okay.
Okay, which is just creating an EC2 instance for me. I'm calling that module from a Terraform file. So there is a Terraform file which is calling the module. That module is just creating an EC2 instance for me. But the
Okay.
instance type is hard coded in the module right now.
Yeah, that we need to make dynamic, right? Yeah.
Correct. So
Uh,
whatever I set it in the top level Terraform files, it should create that EC2 with that instance type.
yes, I got it. I got your point. Like, uh, in that module, we can define a variable for the value. We need to make
Mhm.
dynamic. Like, if the variable, as you told, like EC2 instance, variable equal to instance type, and in the description, uh,
Mm.
instance type, and type is equal to string. Like, we can
Mhm.
write with uh, thing, and default is equal to
Yep.
we need to make like n1 standard one, and we can use that variable in that module like resource like ec2 instance and machine value we can give like
Mhm.
var dot instance type
Okay. Fine.
so that we can replace the hard coded value with that variable
Mm.
in the
Perfect. Okay.
dynamic. Yeah.
Okay. Fine. Now do you have time
Yeah.
or you need to drop off?
Yeah. Yeah, no problem. If you want to ask, you can. Like, I have time. Yeah.
Okay. Fine. Fine.
Yeah, we can. We
Mm.
can. Hmm.
just stop me whenever you want to. That's completely fine because the schedule is half an hour. That's okay.
Yeah, yeah,
If you need to drop off, you can let me know.
yeah, sure, sure. Yeah.
Okay. Um, what is um local exec versus remote exec in the local EXEC versus remote EXEC?
Sorry, local.
Local execution, local
Okay,
exec.
local execution and remote.
Yeah.
Uh, in Terraform, like local execution, remote execution, Terraform, or
Yes, yes. Terraform.
okay, okay.
Are you
Uh,
aware of it?
yeah, yeah. I mean, local. Yeah, generally, while we are executing in our local means on our local machines, like in local execution, we have the script to records in trigger into the CI/CD pipelines like Terraform init plan apply. This will in local, like when it comes to the remote execution, it runs only the remote resource uh, provisioned by the only Terraform. Like we use that remote execution to mainly run the scripts on provisioned resource, like automating the server or software installation and configuration. Then we use for the then we will choose go for the remote execution.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
And what is life cycle ignore changes in that?
Sorry, life cycle.
Ignore changes.
Life cycle changes. Sorry, Kurdat, your voice is break.
Uh, life cycle ignore changes.
Okay, life cycle ignore changes. Uh, Generally in life cycle, yeah, we have init, plan, and apply, destroy. Uh, we can ignore the like detecting. If we detect the applying changes uh, to specific like in. I mean, if you want to ignore the changes, we can give that to specified attributes. The main
What
purpose.
changes
Tags.
for
That
specific
is
attributes if you want to ignore changes?
one thing is like life cycle tags we can give, right? Tags for tags we give and metadata. So these are ignorable generally.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So ignored means what happens if I make changes to the code? If you are mentioned ignore changes tags, and if I make changes to the code, tag
Yeah.
code, then what will happen?
If we change like it does not if you give the new one uh, and even though if they are modified, I mean if they are in modifying the configuration, it does not override this ignore changes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
ensuring
Okay, got it.
yes,
Fine.
outside the
Fine.
Terraform, it won't affect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay, got it. Um, okay, let's move on to Kubernetes. A couple of questions. Just give
yeah, yeah.
me the difference between daemon set, deployment, and stateful set.
Okay, daemon set, deployment, and last one.
And stateful set.
Yeah, stateful
Stateful
set.
set.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Uh, in stateful set, the volumes are persistent, and it is for stateful applications, and uh,
Stateful applications like example.
stateful applications like example databases in we use like it is one in stateful it is each pod has unique and stable, and where pods are not interchangeable in stateful set.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mhm.
in deployment like it supports with declarative and update and scaling rolling updates, and it is deployment is best for the web servers, APIs, and other stateless services. And coming
Okay.
to the
Mhm.
daemon set, like uh, one pod generally it will one pod runs on every node in the cluster. It is cluster wide services like collectors, log collectors, and monitoring agents and networking proxies. And here pods are automatically added to the new nodes and removed from the delete nodes. This is the main.
Okay, got it. And
Yeah.
what is the difference between ingress and ingress controller?
Ingress controller, right? Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, in ingress we will we'll define the uh, I mean that HTTP and things like we will define the rules HTTP things, and its function is like it pass traffic to the backend services. Ingress controller is like with load balancer and reverse proxy, and it is popular for the like Nginx controllers,
Uh-huh. Okay.
and its main function is like configuration to route traffic accordingly.
Okay.
It implements
Fine.
the rules defined by the ingress resources. That is the thing. Yeah.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
External.
Fine. Okay. Let's say two scenarios I'm giving. What will you use in Kubernetes? One is
Okay.
I want a pod to deploy on a particular node. And second scenario is I want the pod not to deploy on a particular node.
No,
There is a pod.
first one is
First scenario is
we need to deploy a pod.
on a particular node.
Okay, on particular node. Yeah. Okay.
How do you do that?
Like I will go for the node selector. Like we use the
Hmm?
kubectl, we use the uh, taint command. Using node selector by using kubectl taint command, we can deploy that specific pod into that specific node.
What is taint?
Yeah, taint is command. We will give the condition the this pod. Uh, it is when in which node it need to deploy. So we
Okay,
use the
then what is okay, fine. Then what will you
yeah.
use in the second scenario where I want a pod not to be deployed in a particular node? So it can deploy anywhere else, but not on this node. How you can achieve that?
Okay, okay. I mean, this one pod is not to deploy on specific any nodes, right?
Any
Or
one
but
particular node, I don't want it to deploy. Anywhere
oh,
else, it can. There are four nodes. On one
okay,
node, I don't want it to deploy. Anywhere else, it can go.
okay. Remaining three nodes, anyone can use, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. This we can go with the um, uh, previously we used kubectl taint node and node name. Here we can use the node selector and tolerate. Yeah, we're using node toleration command. Then we can add a
Okay,
label
now
to
you
the yeah.
explain me again what is taints and tolerations.
Yeah, taint and toleration. We apply the taint uh, particular pods with matching toleration can be scheduled on it, like kubectl taint node name will
Correct.
give, and key is equal value we can give node schedule,
Happens if there is no
and
toleration, if it doesn't match the toleration, then what happens?
yeah, it doesn't match the toleration. If it will deploy uh, another one like uh, remaining three of pods you told, right? So it will deploy there.
Hmm. So
Yeah,
in this case, you will use taints and toleration. In the
yeah,
second
taint and
scenario,
toleration. Yes.
then what will be the first scenario again? Because in first scenario also you mentioned taints.
Okay, that is okay. In first scenario, I will use cube CTL taint. In second scenario, I will use label. Like I will label the nodes, like node selects. We can label the node. Cube CTL label node name. We can give avoid is equal to true. So
And then
we can, and then we can specify a pod. We can here by using the labeling the nodes. We can specify the pod. Exclude that node. Avoid is equal to true. Like
Avoid equal to true.
Yeah, we can use
Is there
generally
really something like that?
uh, uh, like it's normal syntax we'll use. Like
Okay.
in
So
first scenario
okay.
we'll give
So
like taint.
when you want to, okay, first scenario you are doing taint. You're tainting a node. And what will you do on the pod?
No, yeah, sorry, now I understood. In second scenario we need to give no schedule, right? Cubes in second scenario kubectl taint we need to give. Like you told, right? You should not deploy in that specific pod.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
now I got. Taint will apply the
Tell me
node.
what again.
Yeah, sure. Now I got
Again,
it.
tell me first scenario. First
Yeah,
scenario. Tell me
first
again.
scenario
I
I will.
want a pod to be
Yes,
deployed on a particular node.
yeah. In that I will go kubectl label nodes like node name to deploy in the particular
Hmm.
node. In second scenario, I don't want to
No,
deploy
no,
the.
no. Wait. No, no, no. Don't jump to second scenario.
Okay, yeah.
Complete the first scenario. You have just labeled the node. But what will you do on the pod to make sure it goes to that particular node?
Uh, yeah, we I will
You
give
have to
the.
do something on both, right? On something on node and something on pod.
Yeah, I will give like node selector uh, is equal to like with true, like node selector is equal to true. I mean kubectl
True. Then
label
I have four
node.
nodes. Where will it go?
Yeah, it will go to the remaining pods. Remaining nodes. We have like four right in our scenario.
No.
Like it,
The first scenario is I want it to go on a particular node. Out
okay,
of four, I want it to go on node A.
okay. First one, first pod we need to deploy in the node A.
Hmm. Just don't forget about the second scenario.
Oh,
Just go
okay.
ahead with the first scenario.
Okay, I got it. Yeah.
There is a node. There are four. Sorry. There is a pod. Nginx
Okay,
pod is there.
okay.
I want it to go to node A. I have four nodes A, B, C, D. It
Yeah,
has to go to node A, nowhere else.
yeah. Yeah, then yeah. Initially I told right. Kubectl taint nodes like node name and we'll give
That
like
is okay. No
yeah that
node
is
is
okay.
tainted. What will you do on the pod then?
Pod yeah kubectl taint nodes I will give the node name podlet. I mean we by applying this taint command we will deploy the pod to that particular node name. We'll give right nodes and node name.
So you are applying taint on the pod.
Yeah, to the pod. I mean
Okay. So where can we apply the tolerations then? If taint is applied on the pod, what is applied on toler? Where do you apply toleration?
okay toleration. Um, yeah, kubectl. Uh, the second scenario,
No,
right?
I
The
don't want the
first.
command. Where does it up? Where should you apply toleration? On pod or on
Okay.
node?
Okay. Toleration generally we apply to the pods. Yeah, toleration
In
will
first
apply.
scenario, you applied taint on the pod.
No. Yeah. Now I understood it. Tolerations will apply to the pods to allow them to uh, schedule the nodes. Yeah, with matching taints.
Okay,
Yeah. Now I got it.
okay, forget about
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll tell you. In the first scenario, when you want a pod to deploy on a particular node, you just have to use node selector on the pod level.
Yes. Yeah.
In the pod configuration, you have to say node selector and the name of the node. That's it. You don't
Yes.
have to do anything on the node.
Okay.
Okay.
Hmm.
You don't have to taint, you don't have to label,
Tolerate.
nothing. Every
Okay.
node has a name. You just
Name.
have
Yes.
to, on the pod level, you just have to say node selector and the node name. That's it. In second scenario,
Yes.
our use case is a pod should never go on a particular node. It can go to anywhere else. Okay. So you
Hmm.
will taint that pod node. You will taint the node. Okay.
Okay.
So when the pod comes, it will see there is a taint, but I do not tolerate this taint, so I cannot go to this node. I can go to anywhere else. That is why only we just have to taint the node. But if you want that this particular pod can be deployed on this, then you can do add toleration to that pod. Taint is applied on the node, toleration is applied on the pods.
Pods. Yeah, yeah. Got it.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah. Got it.
fine.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I think we are. I'm worried about your time. Do you have more time, or should we wrap up?
Yeah, yeah, fine.
Is it fine?
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
Okay. Talk me about your experience on setting up. Okay, what are the different types of deployment that you have done? Different types of deployment
Yeah. Yeah. In my
on
organization.
Kubernetes or on the node level. Anything is fine. Just I don't want to know that some deployment strategies that you have used.
One thing is like blue-green deployment we used in our organization, and yeah, that is blue-green deployment. And uh, when yeah, like yeah, when deployment is going, when it is stable only, it will deploy in the green side. So we used mostly blue-green
Hmm.
deployment, and another one is uh, rolling deployment, and yeah, we have canary deployment.
Okay, give me an
Yeah,
one line description of what is blue, what is canary, what is rolling.
yeah.
Just one line,
Uh,
simple.
yeah, blue green is like switching between two environments, uh, and canaries is gradually roll out to the subsets, and rolling
Perfect.
rolling
Okay.
and rolling updates is incremental updates. The rolling deployment, it is the incremental updates.
What do you mean by incremental updates?
The next deployment, no downtime and efficient one.
Still
It main
didn't get
adva-
it.
yeah, it main advantage
What
of
happens? Okay. Okay. Do you want to take an example of pods or do you want to take example of nodes?
pods. An example, go with the pods.
Pods. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Suppose a Docker image V1 is deployed. I mean the application version V1 is deployed. There are three
Okay.
pods running of that application with version V1.
Okay. Yeah.
I want to roll out version V2 in production. Version V2.
Yeah.
It should
V1
be a rolling update.
rolling update. Okay.
What will happen? How does it roll out?
I mean, okay, we have
Without
like three
without
pods.
downtime.
Yeah, three pods.
Hmm.
V1 is going to deploy in the dev, right? Dev or QA.
No, dev QA forgot everything is completed. Just
Okay.
talk about production.
Okay, production. We want to deploy V2 to the production, right?
Yes, V1 pods are running, three pods are running. It is serving live traffic right now.
Okay, okay,
I
live
don't
traffic.
want any downtime, but the
Hmm.
application should be upgraded to V2.
Okay. Mm,
Rolling update. What happens in rolling update?
or in generally rolling update, like in the YAML file, we'll mention kubectl apply -f deployment deployment.yaml. It will
That is okay.
next.
That is a command you said. What
Okay.
happens in the background?
Okay. In the background, it will verify the rollout. Like it will verify the version 1, version V2, and in the uh, and then it will monitor the rollout, kubectl rollout, and it will verify the pods. So then it will deploy the V2 with minimal downtime.
How will it do that?
Um,
That is the key. That is the actual question. How will it deploy
okay,
the V2 pods with minimum downtime? What? How does it do it?
okay. How does the process, right? How does it will do?
Yes,
Yeah, we,
yes.
we need to we need to
How are the
update.
pods replaced?
Yeah, we need to update the deployment, like change the image name to V2 in YAML. Like we need to
Yes,
change
yes, yes.
the.
That is all done. Command executed. So what
Yeah,
does it do in the background?
In the background, it will check the rollout, and it will monitor and it will deploy. Uh,
Yes,
that's it.
how will it deploy? On the pod level, what will happen?
Okay, in the
Three
pod
old
level,
pods are running. What will happen to those pods?
yeah. Like generally, yeah, without blocking, it will deploy. Mm, I mean, it is
How does it
gra-
ensure there's no downtime?
mm, like the pods are gradually updates, and the traffic management, like we given right, we told incremental replacement, like Kubernetes starts with the new pods with updated version with the old one running. So this will happen in the pod level, and in the traffic management, and new pods, like new pods receive the traffic as they become ready, and old pods will be deleted, and the new pods are ready to deploy, and it will check the health checks and uh, readiness and liveness props and healthy, and before rollouting to the before routing traffic to them. Like here in
What
our
deployment
scenario,
strategy is this called?
this is incremental replacement strategy, incremental deployment. Here old ports are v1, new ports are v2. The traffic is gradually shifted from the new ports, and old ports are terminated. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Okay. Have you worked on load balancers?
Yeah. I worked on load balancers.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. Fine. Okay. Forget about it. You mentioned blue green also, right?
yeah, blue green deployment. Yes.
You said blue is old version, green is the new version. Then you shift
Yeah.
traffic. How do you shift that traffic?
Mm, updating the services. By updating the services, it will switch from blue to green deployment.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Upgrading the service. Do you have to do it manually?
Mm, no, it will automate. Yeah, we need to do it manually only when it is updating the services. We need to change the services. Right? We need to do that manually. Like traffic is routed to new
Okay.
environment. New updates will come right in an active environment. It
So
is once it is
generally,
verified.
when
Yeah.
when right now in your current setup, how do you roll out new version of an application? Is it blue green? What strategy are you using? If it is blue green, do you switch traffic manually? How do you currently do?
Yeah. Currently, yeah. In our last project, we use blue green. Uh, uh, yeah. It will switch switch the traffic from blue to green. Like we have two environments, two identical environments, right? So in that one it is uh, one way it is blue green, and it will manually switch. One is blue and one is green, two identical environments. So when the new the current one blue is one active, then it will other green will the new version is tested. If it is fine, then we will switch the automatically.
So you will switch using so by identical environments. Do you mean you have two clusters, two GK clusters, or two
Uh,
deployments at Kubernetes level?
Kubernetes level, yeah, in one cluster we can do it. In one cluster
No. You tell me what is your setup? Is it in one
setup,
cluster or two different clusters?
yeah, it is only one cluster. One cluster with two different environments, I mean, with two different nodes, and with the two different namespaces. So we will,
Okay.
yeah, one namespace is blue and next namespace is green.
Okay, got
Yeah.
it. What happens if you want to switch traffic in phase manner between two GK clusters? If I have two parallel GK clusters and
Okay.
one is blue, one is green. If I want to switch traffic from one cluster to another, what service will you use?
Okay. Switching from GK1 to switching like GK1 to GK2 switching.
Yep, yep, yep.
Uh, GK1 to GK switching. The service, yeah, obviously we will go through for uh, node port by using node port, and we can switch the traffic by using node port service. We will switch from one GK to another GK.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Have you used Route 53 or Cloud DNS?
Yeah, yeah, used Route 53 in AWS to create the
Okay.
domain names. Yeah, to create the domain names.
Does it support blue green scenario?
Um, Route 53, it will support.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yes.
we use Route 53, and yeah, it will support the blue green deployment.
How
Sorry.
how do we do that in Route 53?
Uh, yeah, in Route 53 we use the like what is that? We'll give the subdomain names. Uh, like we need to set up the environment.
Have
As
you configured routing record? Have you configured that?
yeah, simple routing also, like in Route 53 we can create the DNS records, and we
Hmm.
can assign the we can assign the weights to blue and green environments, and route we can route the traffic. Initially we need to route the traffic to blue green, and gradually we can increase the weight of the green environment to shift the traffic, and by
Okay.
monitoring
Wait.
by monitoring sorry.
You have to change the weights basically, right?
Yeah, basically weight, then it
Yeah.
will
So in
it
Route
supports.
53, you can create weighted rep.
Yes, exactly, yeah, weighted one.
Okay. Okay. Fine. I think I'm done. I'm so sorry it took another half an hour.
Yeah, no
Uh,
problem, yeah, because
but I think I'm done. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
If you have any questions now, you can tell me.
Yeah, yeah. So what is, so currently you working on, what is the domain, like e-commerce platform? What is your project domain?
So as you know, this is McAfee is a product-based company, not a service-based one. And
Yeah,
uh, whatever products we have, mostly related to customer security. You know, we are not really antivirus company, but we have protection score and other features as well. If you have so we have parental control feature, we have protection score, we have scam detection tool. So all of
yeah,
those things, whatever backend systems, backend portals are there,
yeah.
we are deploying that. Plus, we have the e-commerce. So if you go to the McAfee.com website and if you want to buy subscription, then
Mm,
those applications also. That is basically an e-commerce flow, right? You are adding the subscription plan to the cart and checking out and all of that, logging in, checking your profile. All of that
yeah,
is an e-commerce flow. So that is also there. All of those things we deploy based on the market microservice architecture. We are mostly using AWS predominantly, but we have some workload on GCP as well.
okay,
So if
both
you are
clouds.
hired, you will be
Yeah,
working mostly on more on GCP, but also on AWS, both.
yeah,
Okay, and
yeah.
we have everything using Terraform. We have around 220 plus EKS clusters in
Oh,
AWS, and
okay.
we have 600, 700 plus microservices. So,
Oh,
and we have maybe 20, 25 AWS accounts. We are using Terraform to create everything in AWS. We are using Harness as the CD tool, and
mm,
we are using Kubernetes and charts for application deployment. We are using ECR service for as a container registry, and we are using Jenkins as well for
oh,
CD. We are using Git Actions for CI. So all of these stacks we have to manage as as part of the DevOps team, and we also have a legacy stack which is based on .NET and Windows based architecture. Do you have any experience on Windows?
Yeah, yeah. I worked on Windows based VMs also, both Linux and VM, both Linux and Windows.
Okay, and do you have
Yeah,
any experience on web servers in Windows?
yeah. In web servers like Tomcat, I used on Tomcat Apache one.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay. IIS server have you used? IIS server?
IIS server mostly on Nginx and Tomcat. I worked on it.
Okay, no
Yeah,
problem. That's fine.
yeah.
And have
No
you
worries.
do you have any experience on PowerShell?
Yeah, yeah, PowerShell also. Yeah. I have like very mostly on Linux only. Have only one project I worked on with Windows VMs and PowerShell. I do have like and
Okay. And shell
yeah,
scripting and Python scripting, do you have experience?
yeah. I used in Python scripting also for
Okay.
automation. We used Python scripting also.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fine. So we have a legacy stack on Windows
Mm-hmm.
.NET based. That's
Okay.
also in AWS, but so we
Mm.
have multiple stacks. One is the new microservice based architecture, and the second one is the old Windows based monolith architecture. And so there, but we are migrating towards microservices.
Okay. Great, great.
Okay, I think that is it. You can tell me if
Mm.
you have any other questions.
Yeah, that's fine. It's very great. So next round will be also technical only. Like, is this only fine?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. No,
Oh,
no, no. We have another technical round only. So I'll pass
okay.
on my feedback to my manager who was supposed to join. So
Yeah, yeah,
based on the
definitely.
feedback, he will decide to take or not to take another round.
Yeah, yeah,
But
okay.
if we have another round, it will definitely be a technical round again
Okay, okay, great.
with my manager,
Yeah, yeah,
and that will be the last one, likely.
yeah, 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 yeah.
And my teammate
Thank
may
you.
also join that, but it will be a single interview.
Yeah, yeah, Sham, right? You initially Sabarjit told me.
Comes.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
yes, yes. That's
yeah.
correct. So he'll take that round along with one of my teammates. He may or may
Mm-hmm.
not join, but yeah, it will be the last round.
Okay, okay, yeah, great.
Okay,
Yeah.
and
Any feedback on my this in
how?
one in 1 hour? Could you please any give one feedback on my?
Definitely, yeah, yeah, definitely. So
Yeah,
one thing I noticed is,
yeah,
um, you have an idea about things, but you still need to dive deeper.
yeah,
Okay. So what I noticed is if I guide you towards
yeah,
the answer, you are able to figure out.
yeah. Okay.
So it's like you are able to figure out, but you need to dive deeper in such a way that when I ask you the question, you can directly give me the correct answer without me needing to guide you. Okay. Right now, you are at a level where I can guide you and you can find the answer, but you need to go
Yeah.
to the level where you don't need any guidance. You can directly respond. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
So
Yeah.
that part you can work on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Otherwise, it's good. I think I liked your confidence and the way you figure out if I guide you. So and that is good.
Yeah, yeah, thank you. So, because after joining, you have a lot of experience on this. So under your guidance, I'm very eager to work and grow uh, to improve my skills
Yeah,
and a lot. Definitely, I'm willing to work with
definitely.
you and with positive attitude. Yeah,
Sure, sure, sure. Yeah,
sure.
I can see it. And how much
Mm,
is your notice period?
yeah, actually, immediate joiner. I mean,
Okay, so you have already left
mm,
your previous company, or what's your current status?
yeah, I left my company 2 months ago. The in L&T Mindtree, my bench period is completed, so I'm looking for the new roles.
Sorry, your notice period is completed. Thank you, bye.
Yeah, yeah, notice period is completed in the month of September only.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, thanks. No problem. I'll pass on my feedback to my manager and then he can take he'll take. I'll just pass on
yeah,
the overall feedback and then he can decide if he wants to go further on it.
yeah, yeah, sure, sure,
But
definitely.
I
I'm
will reach
looking.
out to you.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely, I will prove myself. Thank you, thanks a lot. Yeah,
Okay, thank you. Thanks for your time. Have a good day and good talking to you.
yeah, yeah. Thank you. You too. Have a nice evening. Thank you. Guru.
You too. Thank you. Bye.
Bye, bye.